chat. Hello?
Yes.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Am I the only one in the meeting?
No, we have quite a few today.
Okay.
I'm just allowing everyone to speak. So I think it starts off with you not being able to speak, and I changed the setting, but we'll have you mute unless you have a question.
Okay, thank you.
But you'll be able to control your own audio now.
Okay, thank you.
We'll get started here in just a couple of minutes. And I want this to be interactive. If you've got some questions, we'll have some time at the end for some questions. I probably have about 20-30 minutes worth of kind of tips and showing some stuff, and then we'll have questions. But if there's something that I'm doing that you don't understand, if I'm not explaining it well enough, please interrupt me and ask. So I also I believe that you should be able to chat. I will open up the chat window here and try and watch the messages there as well. And I think you also have the ability to raise your hand, and I'll try and watch for that as well. So so I've got still just a couple minutes before 11 o'clock. We still have several that are joining us. So all right, we're going to get going here this morning. I have right at the top of the hour, 11 a.m. Mountain Time. Welcome to everyone who's joined us from whatever part of the country you may be. I hope that you're doing well and that you're keeping as busy as you would like to be. I know for many appraisers, the work has kind of slowed down. And I think this is a great opportunity for us to do some of those things that we put on the back burner a little bit while we were so busy. I know for me, I've been updating my templates, making sure that my resume is up to date with the new classes that I've taken. I've been focusing on some customization in DataMaster so that it works a little more the way that I like it to work. So this is a great opportunity when it's a little bit slow to sharpen our saw a little bit and do those things that we know we should be doing, but we didn't have time to do. And I try to make a list every day of a few things that I'm going to tackle and to try and improve my work. So hopefully you can all hear me okay, and you should be seeing my screen, which right now is the DataMaster screen, has subject, comparables, and market analysis across the top. If you're not seeing that, please let me know. And so I wanted to start off today with just a couple of things. I'm going to load some data, and we're going to talk a little bit about customizations. That's one of the things I think that are a little underrated, something that we don't look at as much. We find at DataMaster that most of our preset customization are the items that appraisers keep. They don't change a whole lot from when we bring data in. So I'm going to show you a few things that maybe you want to customize, and I would focus on, for your own work, I would focus on fields that you find yourself changing quite a bit from once it gets into your form vendor. If there's some items that you're constantly changing, I would look to DataMaster to be able to format those for you or customize them a little bit. First of all, in order to customize, you have to have a property loaded within the comparable grid. And so I'm just going to bring in a file. This happens to be one that I have that I've been working on recently. Again, reminder that you can bring in properties by either address, assessor parcel number, or an MLS number, or you can get them from a file that you've exported out of your MLS, or you can get them from the market analysis if you've loaded data in the market analysis. And so I'm going to first load some from an MLS file. And there's two different ways that you can do that. You can either launch your MLS with the logo that's provided there. I'm in Utah, so this is the logo for my MLS. Or you can open an existing file that maybe you've created in your MLS already. And if you need help exporting out of your MLS, we're happy to help you with that. And show you the best way to do it. So I'm just going to click on the open Utah real estate file. And once I've set where those files are, DataMaster remembers, so it knows that this is all the time going to be on my server, my office server, and I name the files by my naming convention for my file, and then if it's just my comparables, it's just the file number. If it's market conditions sheet, then I have those. If it's a neighborhood export or a broader neighborhood export, I put NBH after those. So we're going to start, I think this is 5 or 6 comparables that we're going to bring in so that we can show you how to do some customization. You have to have at least one property loaded in the comparable grid or the subject property in order to do some customizations. And so you can see that I've spent some time customizing. A lot of the fields are filled out for me. One of the things that some appraisers like to do, and I'll just start here at the top, is they like to change the verification source. So you can do this in a couple of different ways. Right now I have no doc selected on a couple of them because I have not verified the sale, but you'll see that some of them there was a doc selected, and I'll explain why some come in with the document and why others do not, and then how you can change what comes into this field. So where it says no doc selected, the reason this one is there could be 2 different reasons. These sales are from September, just recently, and so maybe the digital database has not been updated yet. We'll see if that's the case. So that is the case here for this particular property. The way that I got here is just by clicking on the deed tab up in the top. You could also click the deed tab for each of the individual comparables. The way I like to do it is to go through all of them at once. And so I click the top tab, deeds, and then it's going to let me go through all of them. So the latest deed that Black Knight has for this is from 2020. So I'm going to skip to the next one. Now this one, we do have a mortgage that's been filed, but we don't have a document number yet. And that's probably, maybe the recorder's office is still a little bit behind, but I'm also noticing that this mortgage is from April. So they don't have yet the current document filed for the ownership transfer. And this third one, again, was 2021. So that also doesn't show us the current transaction. So we didn't pre-select any of them. But if you go to the number 4 comparable here, it's showing that there was a warranty deed, and it shows you who the warranty deed was between, who the seller and the buyer was, and then the mortgage that goes with that. And because there's not another warranty deed within 21 days of the MLS reported sale, we can, with confidence, select that document as the document that verifies the sale. I was in a conference just last month, and there was one of the folks from Freddie Mac was presenting, and this was a field that they spent a little bit of time on. And one of the comments that I wrote down and took away from it, we can see here that we have the listing history now. You can click to get the listing history automatically every time if you would like it to come in every time. It will take a little bit longer to load because it's hitting that secondary database on a live basis, but we can see that the original list date, the sold date, the prior listing, and we see that this sold date, July 26th, is within 21 days of the July 26th deed being filed. It was recorded on that same day. And so we make this selection for you. If there were 2, then we would leave them blank, and you have to make the decision as to which one verifies the sale. Anyway, this gentleman was talking about this field and said that they often see errors in reports in these 2 fields, and I'll explain that. Let me get to it's waiting for this to load to this field. So this first field is the data source, and I put down that my data source is the MLS. And then, of course, for UAD, we put in the days on market. The verification source cannot be the same as the data source. So sometimes they see that an appraiser will put the real estate agent's name in this verification source. Well, if it's the listing agent or the buyer's agent, then that would be the same data source as the MLS. It needs to be, according to this individual interpretation of the selling guide, it needs to be an independent source. So the document number from the public record, from the county record, would be that independent source, and that's why we default to that. So if you wanted to change, though, you can change this. If you don't necessarily want the date to come in, all I'm going to do is format, and there's 2 different types of formatting. There's basic formatting, and then there's advanced formatting on nearly every single field within DataMaster. And in the basic formatting, we have already kind of outlined some of the different options that you may have. So for this one, we want the verification doc number. That's the very first one. I could say if it's blank, then to replace it. And if I want to say no doc recorded or reported, I could put that in there. And that would be if there's nothing selected, it would be no doc reported. I could do whatever you want. I think there's a limit as to the character size of that field. You can make it all uppercase or lowercase. You could also add something to the beginning of the document. So you could put the county. We could put in county record, something like that, or add to the end. So this is pretty straightforward. If I hit save here, it's going to take it just a second. It's going to say which reports do you want this to impact. I'm just going to say this current one. It'll be faster because we go through each report type and update them. But let's just apply the changes to this first one. And I'm not sure what happened there. Hold on one second. It could be a last over from that other error. Let me see. Yeah, it's still getting the. Hold on one second. Just give me one second. I'm going to clear out the cache here. I've been working on a few other things. We've got a new version that we're testing, and I want to make sure I'm not in that new version. Sometimes our beta testing versions are a little less stable before we get them to you. So hold on one second.
I missed a part about how you format the fields.
Okay. Yeah, let me go right back to that. I'm just clearing out some data and then we'll reload it again here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so I cleared out that data. Let me get them loaded back in here. And then I'll show you where you can load as many times as you want, and you can add by, you don't have to have, if you've added by an export file in the beginning, you don't have to add by that method all the time. You can add a property again just by typing in the MLS number. So the way you get to the formatting, good question, thank you, is you right click, you select the field. So I'm in this field here, the verification source. You right click that and a mini menu comes up. We call this a mini menu. And you can format, you can look at the data sources, priority. Priority means which set of data do you want us to look at first. And then we do also have the UAD format guide in this area as well. You can do these quick functions. So if I hit the Control F, it will also go to format. And so then you just select format, and now the formatting comes up. This is the advanced formatting. There's actually a formula, and this is the DataMaster default advanced formatting. And and I'm not going to go a lot into advanced formatting. If you have something that you're really struggling to get formatted the way that you would like it to be, we can probably do it in advanced formatting, and I'd have you give me a call or our customer support to be able to help you with advanced formatting. There's a lot of we can add operators. We've got all kinds of add, subtract from different cells that are available. We can add different elements. There's hundreds and hundreds of elements to add that we can format off of. You can then also, we have if-then statements for if something's blank, then we want it to do something else. We can merge text together. You can format that text to be a certain, whatever you would like, whatever you'd like it to be. The reason you see no doc selected is because if it's blank, that's what we instructed it to bring in here. So it's very flexible and accommodates a lot of different types of formatting. I don't find most appraisers doing advanced formatting on their own, but we're happy to help you, and you really can't break it. If you try something and it doesn't work, it's probably going to give you an error, and then we can reset it. You just reset the field, and it'll go back to, and you can reset individual fields, and it goes back to the basics. And so you can see here the basic formatting. I'll go back into the formatting. So this is where we would say, you know, if it's blank, I want it to come in with something different. And then you would type in what you would like it to come in with. We can also do the verification sales date. So this is the date that or the format of that, the date if it was selected. You can change the format here if you like it to be some other way. If there is no date, then you could replace it with the effective date. So it would match whatever the date is that you said was the effective date. You could do that if you wanted to select the effective date. That's what it would default to, would be this effective date. We can also,
if there's no data, can you leave it blank also?
yes, you could leave it blank. So if it is blank, then we could just, if I don't type in anything there, then it should just leave a blank field so that the no doc selected comes in. Let's try that real quick, but we should be able to do that. Let's save here. Let's just do it to the current. Yeah, I'm still getting this error. I think I've got something lingering from the testing I was doing this morning, but I'll try and figure that out, but that is where it should bring in a blank. Let me see if we can get it to go that way. Yeah, so no doc found came in. Let's go back and see if we can make it blank now. If I just put in a space, a couple of spaces. Yeah, so now it's blank. So the error was that it needed something in there, and a blank space was what we needed to put in, to get it blank. So I'll show you that again. So if I reset this field, you'll see the default, and then we right click on it, format. And so if blank, we want it to be blank. So I've added a couple of spaces, And then to the beginning of the field, I'm going to put in that doc number because it looked to me like we lost it. And so we're going to say save to the current and apply. And now we have blank that comes in when it's not verified. And then we have that doc number that is in front of the deed number that was selected before. So that gives you, that kind of shows you what some of the different items, the things that you can do. One of the things that I would do is I do a lot more non-UAD work right now. As the lending side has slowed down, it seems like other parts have picked up for me. And so I've gone into my GPAR forms, my non-lender forms, and spent some time customizing those forms, especially since my readers are a little bit different there. They may not understand the appraisal process more, and so I want to be a little more descriptive in my data set. One other thing I wanted to show you was on the location side, you can format that to that if overall you want it to first be neutral, we can apply this, and we call this a blank substitution. So independent of whatever comes in, we're going to put neutral there for you. A lot of appraisers, this saves them a lot of time. They're very familiar with their busy street properties and or their power line property, something where the location may be adverse or beneficial. But 90% of the properties that they are going to use as comparables are neutral, and so they like to set it up as that neutral as the default, and then they know that they just have to change the ones that are the outlier. And you can do that on many of these fields. You can also, like on the view here, you can make a condition that that the overall, if it's blank, then we want to replace it with neutral. But if there's something that comes in first, we're going to keep it there. That would be the case with this one. If it's blank, I can add also residential. So that would be my overall view overall. And then the factor is the second part of that description. And we'll show you. So you're going to see that because the agent had listed mountain and valley view, those come in, but the determination of whether it's adverse, neutral, or beneficial, the agent did not select. And so we were able to bring in neutral automatically. Now, if mountain view had not been there, or water view, then it would have said residential because it would have been blank. But in these cases, the agent, and we can look at the, it's going to be mostly in the, in fact, let me close that. We can right click on this field and you can see the data source. Where did that mountain come from? It came from my MLS. The MLS is marked down, the agent marked down that there was a mountain view. And you can do that with any of the fields. If you right click and go to data source, it will tell you where the information came from. Of course, my public record doesn't know what the different views are. The county assessor doesn't list whether it has a mountain view or valley view or what the view. So I would expect this to be blank in that particular case. Same with any of these other fields. So for example, my county public record says that I have one story, but they don't list the architectural type of a Rambler Ranch. That's in my MLS. So that's an easy way, a good way to bring any of the discrepancies forward that that may exist in the data sets between the two different between the MLS and the public record. Another field that we find gets customized quite a bit is the heating and cooling field. You can change the same thing, format. In this one, it's going to be slightly different. We have our cooling types, the type of heating and cooling, and then the heating type individually. And if I go to cooling, you're going to see a tab here for data values. So cooling and then data values. So listed on the far left are all of the different options within your MLS. So for example, my MLS has heat pump. Yours may not. If your MLS doesn't have heat pump, then you're not going to see heat pump here. So this is your data source. This is everything within your MLS specifically. And then the middle column here, you tell us how you want us to count it. Should we count it as central air, as an individual? This refers to the form, to page 1 of the form for the subject. Do we want to just ignore it altogether and do not use it? So you would select that, and then how you want us to display it. So I like it to say central air conditioning, but you may like it to say CAC or AC. So let's go and change this to CAC. And if I hit save, now you'll see that everywhere the MLS mentions central air, it will come into my report as AC. And we can right click on that and double check it. And this is what the cooling type was from the MLS, was central air. And now it comes in as AC. Now this is going to going forward will be for every report. You don't have to do this every single time. You do it once. And every time central air is mentioned in the MLS or public record, it will format this way. I'm going to put it back to the way that I like it. You can also ignore different items. So let me save this. And if I was doing this on for my reports, I would do it for all the reports at once, so I didn't have to go through every single report. I notice here that I have heating and cooling. This particular property has solar panels. Well, I really don't think that solar panels are a heating and cooling element. They're more of a energy efficient item. So I'm going to right click on here. Actually, first I'm going to find out, where did solar panels come in from? I'm going to look at the data source, and it looks like it's a heating type. In my MLS, they've listed it as a heating type, this active solar. So now I'm going to go in and I'm going to find that in my heating type and data value. And I'm going to look down for solar, and I'm going to say, I want it to ignore that, because I see that more as a fuel type, not necessarily a heating type. And so I'm going to ignore it there. I don't see any other solar. Scroll down real quick and say save and apply that. And there must be another spot where it is also. Let's go in and find one wherever the other source is. It may be the heating and cooling. I don't see it in there. must be missing one. Oh, passive solar right here, other. Let's put a do not use on that. And make sure that we are. So maybe I'll set that to none. Clear that out. Okay, so let's save it now and see if we found all the spots. It is possible that the data could be coming from different fields. And we probably still have one more that's not showing up because I'm still finding it in here. So you'll have to play with it a little bit if something still keeps coming in. And it looks like this one has a window evap cooler as well. So you can, it's very flexible as to how you can set those items. You can also, like, you may not like it to say none on something. You may like it to say none noted or none found, none reported. So you may want to expand out what's coming in there. Some of the fields, if they're UAD, we try not to let you change them if they're a UAD field. For example, on the garage section, it needs to be identified this way. And so that field, you're going to find less functionality as far as being able to format. You can see that
if they're UAD and it doesn't come in a UAD format, what to do?
So do you have a field that's not coming in UAD that should be? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, Jeff, let me know what field that is. It could be, there's a couple of reasons why. It could be that when we're looking at the data source, that the MLS didn't break it out that way, or that we need to request another field from them, which we can do. But it should, do you know specifically, or can you think of which field it is right now that's not coming in UAD?
No, let me check real quick.
Okay. And then also tell me which MLS you're in. Yeah, let me know if anybody finds anything like that, please let us know. We do our best to test those. But if there's a specific field, and sometimes the MLSs will change their field without letting us know. They're supposed to let us know. But sometimes they make a change without alerting us. And so we need you to let us know that field is not coming in UAD. While you're looking that up, Jeff, I'm going to show a couple of other things. While Jeff's getting that, I'm going to load some market data. So I'm going over to the market tab, and I'm just going to spend a couple of seconds here loading a couple of files for our market. One of the things I want to show you, there's a few things that you can do with the details tab in the market condition or the market analysis side. I'm going to load one more file in this same market conditions, and you'll notice this time you can add as much data as you want. There's no limit to how much data you can bring in. So I'm going to open this second file, and this time it says we see that there's already some data in this in the competing market section. What do you want us to do? Do you want us to append? Do you want us to cancel? Or do you want us to append the existing data? And what that means is that we're going to go through and we're going to look at all the MLS numbers and make sure we have no duplicates, but we'll add anything that is unique. Or we can say no, and it's going to take out what you had just loaded and put back in this new file. So I'm going to say append. And it works the same way with the neighborhood. And I know in past Tuesday tips, I've talked about the difference between these two, the neighborhood data set and the competing market data set. What I want to show you today is something that I found is very useful. That's a little bit, it's actually easier to do in DataMaster than it is in your MLS. And so once I've loaded all of these properties, I have 163 properties. It tells me that right here at the top. I can view them in this big spreadsheet. This is all the information that that we've brought in. And if you see a field here that's missing, something that you would like, then please let us know, and we're happy to look at adding any columns. But what I wanted to show you today is what's very helpful for me right now in analyzing the market, especially the change in the market, is looking for paired sales, properties that have sold once or twice in the past couple of years. And so the first thing I did was I brought in 2 years worth of data. You're going to see there's some properties here from 2021. There's properties, I think I went back 750 days. And so I have a lot of older sales as well. Here's 2020, 2021. And if you click on the top, the label of any of these, it will sort them. And so I'm going to click on address. And now all the addresses are sorted by the house number first. And so I'm specifically looking for properties that have sold at least twice in the last couple of years. So I'm going to scroll down through here and see if we find any. If the MLS number is unique, it's going to keep those unique MLS numbers, and the addresses will be the same. So let me see. So here I have one that was 2005 North, 500 East. It looks like it was listed in November of 2021, and then previously in September. One it expired and one it was withdrawn, so that doesn't really help me for what I'm looking for. Here's one, same property. It sold in December of 2021, and it's now on the market again. I had an original list price of $419.9, and now it's listed for $499, but it sold for $365. So that's one that I could look at and say, okay, I want to look and see what's happened there. Might be useful, may not be. But I can scroll down through here, and in most of the cases, with as busy as the market has been, this is a pretty easy way to find multiple or duplicate sales of properties. Also, the other thing this is helpful in finding is an accurate days on market. So some of your MLSs, they reset the days on market when a new listing comes, if it's within a certain period of time. Every MLS has their own criteria or set of rules for when the days on market resets. And so if I'm looking, it looks like this particular one we're looking at here. It was on the market from May 5th through September 19th. And it looks like it went under contract. And then they had a different MLS number. And so I need to scroll over and I can see the days on market. It looks like the original listing had 118 days on market. My MLS, because the gap between the two MLSs was not more than 30 days, it continues in the CDOM, or the continuous days on market. So those 4 days were added. But in some cases, your MLS, you will have had a 4 on both of those and a 118, and you'd have to add them together for on your own independently. So this can be a good tool to find multiple listings on individual properties. I still haven't found what I'm looking for though, and that would be a property that is sold twice in the last little while. And here I found one. So 2859 North, 850 East. It sold in January. Let's see. It sold in March of 2022, and it also sold in November of 2020. Sold for 315, and then for 450. So I could now take that property and look at it and see, was this just simply a change in the market between those two different periods of time? Or was there some conditions that changed? Did they add some basement finish, add a garage? What accounts for this $135,000 worth of change over a little over 2-year period of time? As we start analyzing the market, having some paired sales like this will become very valuable in your analysis. And this is a great way to be able to find those. You can move columns around as well. You can, if you like them to be in a different order, you can also see what the status was at different points, periods of time. So for example, this one here, its current status is sold. That's what this line, this status line is what its current status is. In the 0 to 3 month, it was sold, but also in the 4 to 6 month, it was an active listing on the last day of that period of time. And so that can be helpful too in your analysis and trying to find something. Maybe you're doing some retrospective work and you want to find some active listings from a particular period of time. You load the data in and you can find it here. So this being able to sort by the different columns has been very, very helpful. It also helps in clearing out an outlier. So let me go to lot size. This is sometimes where I find an outlier. I have this property that's more than an acre, maybe has a different utility and use. Looks like I've got 2 of them here. If I highlight on those and then I hit delete, it will take it out of the analysis. So I'm going to delete these 2 and then hit save. And now you'll see that instead of 163 properties, we have 161. The graphs have all been updated. The 1004 MC report reflects now the update as well. The 1-unit housing pricing is updated also, and the summary is also updated. So everything gets updated when you pull out those outliers, and using the detail sheet, sorting by different columns can be a good way for you to clean out any of the outline properties. These fields are also editable. So if you knew, for example, that this comparable here had a concession of $5,000, I can type in those concessions, mark the box has concessions first. If I knew that this one was an REO, and then I hit save change, that's now going to go into the analysis, and you'll see that it's now included in this data in the summary of. It looks like the one that we did before was not in the past 12 months. So this one, it never sold. So that's why it didn't end up in the sold. Let me show you one. So let's say that this one was an REO. if I hit save, you'll now see that on the REO sales that it lists that one sale as either a foreclosure or a short sale, 2% of the transactions, and it shows it in the period of time in which it occurred. So if you have some corrections that you need to make, you can make those corrections here within the detail tab very, very easily. So any questions? Those are the things that I wanted to talk about, was customization, finding paired sales within the market analysis. One thing that's always fun here is if we're in the sales comparison grid, we've already loaded market analysis data. I can actually get my sales, I can get properties from the market analysis. And these columns here are sortable as well. So if I'm looking for something that is a more recent sale, I can sort by close date. If I select two of those, it's then going to add them as the 6 and 7 comparable. Hit get comps, it now goes out to the MLS, pulls everything in. You don't have to log back into your MLS, and it added that 6 and 7 to the grid and brought in all the information about those properties. So, but I'm happy to
question
answer.
in here in the when you go review and send,
Yes.
and then there is the addenda, and then there's the all the information down below. That is
Yes.
Yes. Can that be brought into the report?
Yeah, so here's the way that I bring it in. You can bring it, so depending on which form vendor are you using, Jeff?
Click forms.
ClickForms, okay. So ClickForms doesn't have a spot for this to go in there. If we bring it into your comments addendum in ClickForms, it will replace what's already there. So if you have any templating, we'll erase what's in there and put this in that place. And so rather than do that, if you hit copy comment, this blue goes to green. And then you can paste it into your addendum. And I'll just show you one of mine. I'm familiar with ClickForms. I'm not currently using it, but it's a great product. But I'll show you how you then put that in. I just have to load a report here real quick. So ClickForms has a comments addendum similar to this. So I would go to the end of whatever is in your template now, and I would right click and paste. And if you do the paste text only, it will keep the formatting the same as what's in your addendum. And now all of that is in the report, and it groups everything by comparable. So let's say in this comparable, you wanted to keep the agent remarks, but you did not want any of the discrepancy items. You would delete those out. And then if you wanted the last transaction to be there, let's say you want to talk about these two transactions, you now have everything relevant, and you can add to or make any comments. That's how I do it. It's fairly easy to bring in and then to edit. And a lot of times I'll add right here appraiser notes, and then called agent to verify ... whatever you did, you can add it. You can add it to the end of that. There's something else that you can bring in as well. So this little conversation icon on the grid, this is the DataMaster standard addendum. And I'll make it big here. this is for each of the comparables, and you'll see that the ownership history is outlined here. You can type and edit this. You can make your own comments. If you click on the location and view, it's interactive. You can select the items. You can type in why the view may be adverse or beneficial. You can also select new images. If you wanted to show, say, the kitchen remodel, and you want to move that image, you can slide those images over. Let's see if I can get it to work with there we go. And then this whole addendum can come into your ClickForms report. So I'm going to save this. And when you hit send and review, you just say include in the report. And now, or you can save them to a PDF. And if you save them, if they go into your report as a separate addendum, and I'll show you what they look like. This is what that one sheet page looks like. And you can include that. And it has all of the agent remarks. It has your ownership history. You can add the listing history on there. And it's just going to continue to go down for each of your comparables. And you could add this to your report as well. And it would come into ClickForms as a separate addendum, similar to how a plat map comes in or something like that. So that's another way to get that data into ClickForms.
So with ClickForms, you go, like Alamo, insert PDF. So it will come in as exhibit 2.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, it will come in. And you can also, so ClickForms doesn't have a work file function like Total does, or like Alamo does, but you can have those, you can save them to your work file, to your digital work file as well, and just save them on your hard drive or wherever you keep your digital work file. We do archive this, so when we hit that send to report, all of this information is saved. All of the photos are saved, even if the MLS eliminated the photos or took away the agent comments, something like that. You would still have these. You would still have all of this data. The MLS sheet, we've tried to get all the information from the MLS. A lot of times we don't do exactly the same format, but all of this information is saved as well for you as soon as you send it to your report. So Dave, you had come on mute there.
Thank
Did you
you.
have a question?
Yes, I was just wondering if you could go over how you get the comps from the market analysis again, just the beginning part.
Yep.
Thank you.
So if I'm in the grid, I can get comps here at the upper left-hand side and say get market analysis tab. So we can do our property search, MLS, or get market analysis. If one of these comparables, if the property is already in the grid, you will not see it here. So you won't be bringing in a duplicate comparable. But if it's not currently in the grid, then you select the ones that you want. And you'll notice that they come in the order that you selected them. So for example, if I select this one that's 614 East, that will be number 8 now. And then this one will be number 9, and this one will be number 10. They'll come in the order that you select them, not our traditional order. So the traditional order, if you come in from an export file, is the most current sale to the most recent active listing. That's how we default the grid being populated from an export file. Good question, Dave. Thank you. If ever I go too fast, please slow me down, guys and gals. I sometimes move a little too fast. So thank you, Dave, for the question.
Thank you. It's good stuff. That's really powerful.
You can also clear out properties if you would like. You can clear all the comparables, all the market. You can move from a comparable to the subject here. You can also bring in, if I click on subject, from the market analysis as well, the same functionality in bringing the data in, as well as if we added an addendum. So let's say I have a listing addendum and I want my listing properties to be on that addendum. I can also get them from the market analysis. In that case, I would probably sort by style and pick a couple of these actives and bring those in and add them to the listing addendum. I can also on this side get them from the comparable sheet. So if I wanted to bring one of these in from the comp grid, I could move it over from the comp grid and bring it in to a separate listing addendum. This may be more useful for non-lender work. You may be trying to present some sales and then also some listings. Maybe you're doing something for a real estate agent. Lately, I've been doing a lot of listing appraisals where the agent wants to see what's historically sold and then what are we competing against. And I'll present those in two separate addendums, two separate grids, the comp grid and then the listing grid. All righty. Any other questions, Jeff? If I need to hang on, I'm very interested in solving your UAD problem. So please let me know if we can help with that as well. So, but any other questions? I think everyone, if you all have control of your audio if you want to ask any questions. So, Robert, it's good to see you on the call, my friend. I hope you're doing well. All right, if there's oh, go ahead, Tom. You can unmute and ask your question. I can't hear you, Tom, if you're speaking. I see that you're unmuted, but I can't hear you. I'm gonna put my contact information in the chat that everybody can see. So if you need to contact me afterwards, I'd be happy to visit with any of you. There you go. There's my email and my cell phone if you have any questions. Go ahead, Ron.
I'm just wondering if a copy of this recording will be made available.
Yeah, so we record all of these, and then what happens is the marketing team and tech support team, they use different parts of it for for tutorials and for training. I haven't asked them if they can make them available, but I can certainly do that. We haven't done that in the past. We've used them to for our own tutorial and training stuff. So let me ask them and I'll let you know, Ron.
Thank you.
We have about, I think this is probably the 15th or 16th of these that I've done recently over the last few months. And so we do have quite a library. And if
So
there's
check-
ever a feature that you would like me to address, I'm happy to look at, you know, anything. DataMaster I found over the years is a very, very powerful tool. A lot of times we don't utilize like many of the software programs that we have or gadgets, phones, tablets. We don't really use all the features that they have. There's just too many. And so hopefully we've sparked something and you can see something that will be valuable to you. All right, if there's no other questions, Tammy, it looks like you jumped on. I didn't see you earlier. It's happy to have you here. I hope you're doing well. And then we'll be doing this again in 2 more weeks or in 2 weeks from now. Every Tuesday at 11 o'clock Mountain Time. I spend about an hour and I just pick a few things that I think are important and can benefit you in using the tool a little more to help your business. And again, today we talked about customizations and using the market analysis grid to find paired sales. And so hopefully that was helpful. So thank you. Have a great rest of your week. And again, if you need to reach out to me, my information is there in the chat window, and I'm happy to visit with you one-on-one if necessary. So thank you very much and have a great day.